Hello and welcome to this new type of show where we take a look at some UMG or UI elements from existing games and show you how we can recreate them inside of Unreal and Photoshop, etc. Whatever we need to do to make it. So in this episode, we're going to take a look at Dead by Daylight's character profile, and we're going to take a look at how this is made, and we're going to be creating our own graphics and artwork inside Photoshop and bringing them into the engine ready for use. So let's take a look. So our subject today is looking at Dead by Daylight's character profiles when you go to choose a character. So first of all, we need to highlight and identify what is going on here and the different elements that we're going to need for this. So let's get started. First up, I'm going to just make some notes here so you can see what I'm referring to. And put a new line. There we go. So the first thing is that we've got obviously a big difference between the unselected and unselected ones, but the selected ones have these sort of corner edges. So this is going to have to be a unique graphic that we make, and it'd be like a border that's going to be stretched across the whole lot. So rather than making 4 individual images, we're going to try and do it with just one and see how that works, and then bring that in. The second identifiable thing I've noticed here is that the edges of the borders aren't flat. They aren't square. They're just rough, hand-drawn looking lines. And so we're going to try our best to recreate these sort of designs for our one as well. And then we've just got a simple color changes, change the color of the background element and the foreground element. So the foreground element, it looks like it's just fading out. So like the whole image itself is just faded, but the background here is changing color. Like it's got a yellow here, and then we've got like a bluey grey background there. So yeah, we'll have a crack at looking at like that. Now there are a couple of little slight errors I would see in these designs, and one I can see here is this character profile is overlapping the outline of our edges. So you can see how the edge is thicker here than it is here, and that's because the profile image here is sitting on top of it rather than sitting inside of it, which tells me that the design for the background is most likely tied to the border here. Now we're going to try and separate those out for our one, but to make it a bit improved. But that's what it looks like is happening here. And you see this also happening down here with like Ash's hair, for example, and a few of like Joe's hair. Is it Joe? His hair here from Stranger Things. You see it where it's overlapping a little bit of the actual artwork. So we need to go ahead and start creating some of these things. So let's go jump into Unreal, and we're going to create our widget folder. And we're going to create, first of all, the widget profile. So W character profile. And open this up. Now, these are all fixed size. So we'll use a fixed size box in here too. And so the way I like to work with these things is I'll do a block out of this. So all like how you do level design block outs, I'll do a block out of the UI as well. So the size box here, I'm going to do width and height override. We can estimate 300 by 400. So it's 4:3 image, which is what it kind of looks like there. And you can see what it looks like on designed on screen. And you can kind of see the aspect ratio is pretty similar. So that's not too bad like that. Now, 400 by 400 is quite large. That's just the aspect ratio I know I'm going to need. So if you wanted to, you can also times that by 0.7, for example, and just type it in there itself, and it will work it out for you. Let's times that again by 0.5, and times by 0.5. Yeah, 1.1 times 1.1. Something like that. Okay, so that's our size done. Next, as I say, going to block it out. And so the key elements we got here is the background, the border, the foreground image plate, and then we've got the level identifier here, the text. So let's put in our background first of all. So we'll use a border like that, and I'll just give that a basic color. Actually, I'll leave it white, be fine. And then in here we're going to have another border. Actually, we're doing another border. inside that border, and then another one inside that border. And so we've got these borders all overlapping each other, and by default it's going to add all these sort of like padding, which I'm just going to take out all the padding right away, just set them all on top in 0, so it makes it easier to work with, and I don't like the default padding anyway. So the first border is going to act as the background plate. This one is going to act as the foreground plate. This one's going to act as the border plate, and also I'm going to add a selector plate overlay on top of this. So I'm going to right click on border here, wrap with overlay, and in there we're going to have another border, and this one will like sit on top, and that'll be like these white corners that you're seeing here. Okay, so we're going to do that. Yep, so we need to just stretch these both out across the overlay panel. There we are. Okay, so let's do first of all our simple background. So our simple background looks like it's like a sort of noisy, cloudy texture. So let's just find a stock one we can use online. That'd be fine. So it's sort of like a watercolor noise texture, isn't it? So let's take a look what we've got here. Images. That's not too bad. So we're only trying to estimate. We're not trying to do a proper thing. We'll use this one. There you go. So I'll save that image. And I'm going to bring that into the game. It gives us our cubic noise. And because we're going to be tinting it and things like that, you ideally want it to be like white. Because then you can tint it different colors quite easily, as you'll see here. So if I go to my top level border and set the brush to that texture, yeah. Let me hide the other ones first. Yeah. So here you can see that border texture being used, and if I change the tint here, we can change it to like a dark bluey tint to more of a yellowy tint, which matches what they're kind of doing. Okay. Now you could also animate this thing too. I can't remember if it's animated in Dead by Daylight or not, but if you want to do any work on this whatsoever, it's always best to make this probably a material rather than just a texture. So I'm actually going to do that first now, because I guarantee I'm going to regret not doing it. So I'm going to put that in there. It's going to ask me to change the domain. We just click on that, then open it up, and it's going to ask us to plug in the final color. And I'll tell you what, I'll put Panner in here as we're here. We'll put Panner in. And I'll make it go super slow. We'll go 0.05 in the X there. Ah, it's not tileable. Maybe we won't do that then. We'll leave it like that. Okay. But there's the result of that. Next up is we're going to use a image of a character. So we're going to do character headshot image. Let me have a look online for one of those. With a transparent background, ideally. So I'm just literally Googling something for us to use. I'm just going to go transparent. Yep, you'll do. Save image. We'll just save that there. And we'll bring that in there. So all your characters obviously with their own headshots in here. Now, when you're putting this headshot in, you're going to notice something a bit weird. So we'll put that into this border here. And we'll just chuck that into there. And make that visible. So initially you're going to see it look a bit strange and stretched and squished. Okay, and that's because we've got a portrait image, but we've got a landscape headshot. So I'm going to wrap this border here with a scale box. I'm going to wrap with scale box there. The scale box here, we're going to change from stretch to scale to fit the Y. And the border inside of it is going to be stretched. Why is that not stretching to feel Y? So the scaling and stretching, I don't think will work with the borders. So what we're going to do instead then is we're just going to really work with the overlays, I think. So rather than border within border within border, all changes the images. So this border here, we're going to replace. Can I replace that with an image? Oh no, I can't. It's got content. Let's see if I can replace that with an image. Nope, fine. I'll just do it from scratch. So I'm putting this overlay, and we just use the overlay here. So the scale box is then going to have an image inside of it. One that I can hopefully spell. And there we go. And then put that into our headshot. There we go. And the scale box here will change to scale to fit. Why? Why is it stretching like that? Oh, it's because the image size is stuck at 3232. What's the original size for this? 2880 by 1620. 2880 by 1620. There we go. There we go. So, because the image size was broken. I wonder if that was the problem with the other one, but never mind. The scale box seems to be working just fine here. And as you can see, what the scale box does, it's scale the image up and it's going to clip it around the edges here, which is kind of nice. Okay, so that's looking a bit nicer. Next up, we need to do is going to be the black wobbly lines border around the edges. So I'm going to go back into Photoshop for this. Bring that back in, and we're going to create a new file for this, and we're going to do a width of 300 by 400. Okay, so because I've got this sort of wiggly line sort of texture to it, you could obviously change the brush to something a bit more apt. I don't really have anything. And look, I'm not going to waste time looking around for it either. So I'm just going to put in something rough like this, and then I'm going to paint the lines on freehand. So it'll look a bit wobbly. It won't look perfect. Like that. That'll do. So alongside this, I also want to get a mask because we need to cut out the edges around the edge of the shape here. And so I'm going to make another layer. And I'm going to... Actually, I'm not going to make another layer. I'm going to duplicate that one. Duplicate that layer. Okay. There you go. And then I'm going to fill in the shape. We've got a paint bucket here. We need to paint that over and tie that up. It's not done it quite well with that. That's fine. We'll just paint over it. So the mask is going to be using so we can get that nice outline to match the outline of our border here a bit better. Yep. Let's select that, and then I can contract it in. Select, modify, contract, and this will be the thickness of the border here. So we'll do 10. Yeah, that'll do. You can see a problem over here. That's fine. We'll have to make do with this one. I'm going to pump that up there and just fill that in with white. Ooh, white. There you go. Let me just plug in this bit as well. Let me just... how's that looking? Oh, a bit down here too. There we go. Okay. So there's our border and our mask. So the mask part is going to be the white bit in the middle. So with this layer... Oh, with the... no, what layer is it? This this layer, I want to paint the outside of this on this layer 2 here. Or in fact, layer 1. Could we do this one? Yeah, we could do this one. No, it's going to be all poo. Hold on. Oh, let's do it by hand. The white part is going to be kept, so the black part will be discarded in the opacity mask. Ah, it's because I put white on the other layer. That's fine. You can catch that. Same again there. Okay. Yeah, so just need to painting these bits. This layer. There we go. Right, so export that out. That'd be the mask. Export as PNG. And that'd be profile mask. And then I want one with just actually just the border. Which should be this one. File, export, PNG. I want to give it the background. There you go. File, export, PNG. And that'd be profile. I should put border, but never mind. Okay, so now we've got those things. We can bring them both in here. Import that in. And I put my desktop, didn't I? So profile, mask, and profile border. Like so. Okay, so now we've got to put these onto our image here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the border part of this. And this is going to be a the profile mask. Actually, let's do the mask first. So the mask part, we're going to take the image of our background, which is here, and we're going to apply a mask to this. So this will be masked. And we'll put in a texture. And that'll be this one. Oh, just do it like that. And put that into opacity mask. So now you get that wobbly outline. Save that. Close that. There you go. Then we want to apply the same to our image here. So I'm going to take this image and make that a material as well. So we can also mask that. And that'll be a UI material. And be masked. Okay. And once again, we bring in our mask. Oops. Right, no, apply. Oh, it didn't swap it over. There we go. Although, why have we got the black bit? Oh, I need to put the alpha of this. So this has got alpha on it as well. I need to multiply the alpha with this alpha too. Just use the same size float. There we go. There we go. So she's going to get cut around the edges as well. Getting cut around. Oh, right. It's because problem. So the problem we've got is that the mask is hitting the bottom just fine, but where it's scaling it, like it's getting masked at the wrong bit. So I need to mask it here. That's probably why their one overlaps. Okay, well, we'll carry on going and we'll just fix things as we go. So this border here is going to be the border around the edges. That'd be this one. And we'll just make that one visible. Yeah, see, this is what they had. Something like this. That's annoying. Okay. And we'll just put that at different order. Like that. And I'm just going to add some padding to our profile, hero profile here. So I'm going to go to the scale box, add a little bit padding to this one. 3, 1. Maybe just one. Just to stop it from clipping over the outside, but we're going to get this issue inside because the mask isn't perfect. Damn it. Okay. Well, we'll have to make do. I can see why they had problems with this originally. Also, we've got some padding issues with the border on the inside here. The mask for that background is not perfect. So let's just change the background mask on that. So padding here, we'll do -1. No, we can't. Let me do it. It usually does. Nope. Okay, fine. We'll do... we'll take the border here and we'll bring that in. So that is this one. 1. 2. 2. Yeah, see, we're going to have clipping over the edges the same. Yeah, that's annoying. So let's do 2 there, 3 there. I'm going to offset this down actually to hover over this bit here. So I'm going to go down to the render options in render transform, and we're going to bring that wire value up a little bit. That'll do. We're not going to get it perfect, but we'll get it as close as possible. Okay, so that is our main character profile done. The thing we want to do now is the white highlighted borders. So these corner pieces where we're highlighting the edges of our frame. Let's go ahead back into Photoshop. And I'm going to use the same... actually, no, I won't use the same thing here. We'll do a square image. New. And we'll do 512 by 512. Didn't have one of these there saved. Make a new thing. And I'm going to paint the rest of this in black. Okay, so put black border. But the edges here are this rough pencil scratchiness design. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this within like the corners here. So, oh, no, this is not going to work. Let's do this a bit bigger. Like that. Something akin to that. And we'll make it a bit more rough and scraggy. Let me get the smudge tool. I always forget which one it is. There you go, smudge. And bring it way down. And we're just going to bring it out like that. Okay, and that'll do for our design. Obviously, you can spend as much time as you want on it, but that'll do for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to file, export that as a PNG, and we'll do profile selection and save that. And then likewise in here, we're going to bring that in, import into profile selection. Okay, so what we're going to do with this thing is going to overlay everything in here with this border. Not this one, another border. Into the overlay. There we are. And we're going to give it our image here. So this one, I'm going to make into a material again. And we're going to make it into a UI material. Bring that into our final color. Change this from not mask, but translucent. The reason why I'm doing translucent is because we've got not exactly white and black. We've got some grays in there too. So we're going to make use of that. So put that into opacity like that. And save and close this. So now if I set that to my new material, we got this nice effect going around the edges and almost stretching it. But if I change this to box and change the margin here to 0.5, you'll see these highlight a bit more square-like. They're not going to be stretched out according to the image here. So you can change this over here by like whatever you want. So if I put 0.25, for example, it doesn't really matter because we've cut it off at certain sizes. So you've got to think of it being split into, like, if at 0.5, imagine a line going across the middle here. But say 0.5 is fine. And then if you want to change the size and scale of these things, then it's just a matter of changing the size and scale of the image itself. So the image size here is set to like 30 by 32, but you can put in 100 by 100. It should affect that. There you go. And you'll see it scale up those selection sort of rectangles there. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of hover over the edge of this because, actually, no, I won't, because it actually, if you look at it carefully, it is actually overlaying the border pretty well. Which is kind of what this is doing. Not too bad with that. Cool. Okay, so next we've got the text to go in the corner. So we're going to go into the vertical box. Bring that into my overlay. And this is going to go in the bottom. So we keep it in the side, but down the bottom. Down there. And we'll put in some text. And in fact, there will be two texts. So the first one is going to say the word level in all caps. But it's going to be sort of like see-through grey sort of colour. So I'm going to change the colour and opacity here. I change this alpha down to 0.5 maybe. And change it to black. Maybe 0.8. No, it definitely looks more white than black. So I'm going to go here 0.5. 0.2. No, 0.7. We'll give it 0.5. And I'm going to go to the font. Change that down to 12. Yeah, quite happy with that. And the next one is the text here. This will be the number. So we'll do 40. And we'll make that 2. And we'll put that in as 20 in its size. And this whole vertical box here, I'm going to add some padding around the edges here. So if I go to the left and to the top here, I'm going to put in, actually, let's do the whole lot. We'll do 15. 10. 10. There you go. Okay, so we've gone from this design here to this design here. So pretty accurate, pretty well done. So if you want to make it so it changes color when we highlight over it, well, if I go to my graph, I need to make it so that when it's hovered, it has that effect. So it's actually a button overall. So let's put it all inside of a button. So I'm going to wrap the size box with a button. And the button, we're going to change all its padding and things. So go to its style. Padding here be 0, 0. Compile that. We're going to change its background color here to nothing. Compile that. And the size box here is going to have 0 padding at all. Okay, and when this hovers, we need to make it so it changes the background line, which is this border here. So I'm just going to make it a variable and rename it. And we'll call this one box background. And compile that. So if I go to the button, I can create the hovered event on hovered. And I get my box background. And I'm going to change the image brush's tint. Okay. Actually, I don't think the brush. Oh, I'm going to do brush color. That'd be fine. Brush color. So we'll do. Oh. Where am I going? Here. There you go. Set brush color. And we'll set that to sort of yellowy orange that they're using. There you go. Done. And there we go. We've successfully recreated our Dead by Daylight character profile sheet slot with relatively good accuracy. Furthermore to this, you would add maybe like they've got drop shadows on this. If you want to add a drop shadow to it, and also got the padding here to make it into an actual grid. So to make it an actual grid, you'd have another widget, and we'll do character selector widget. Character selector. Open this up. And this will be a grid or a wrap box, whatever you want to prefer. I'm going to do a grid. That way we can do exactly what we need it to do. And that'd be profile in there. Okay, let's change this to desired on screen. And we've got our profile. And make a duplicate of that one. Another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. So you can see here you can make a grid quite easy. But let's say I want to add spacing towards all of this. If you go to uniform grid, you can go over here to slot padding. And you can add slot padding to there. Or you can go into the character profile and go to the hierarchy top here and change it here. I'm just going to change it in the grid. So I'm going to change this here to 5. Yeah, that'll do. And that is our slot grid. Slot grid there, which will be inside of a scroll box. Wrap with size box. Scroll box, sorry. There you go. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I found it useful. If you'd like to see more of this content, please let us know in the comments below what kind of game and what kind of UI from a game would you like to see being made. Like we have done here, we're just picking one small element of the UI and trying to recreate it as best we can live in front of you. So thank you so much everyone for watching. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can find all my videos early just from just $1 a month. Thank you so much for my patrons and YouTube members for their continued support. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.